Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a casted game of Age of Empires 4, and today on the east side of the map we have got Kasva playing in red as the Rus. He will be going up against none other than Recon playing in blue as the Mongols on the west side of this map. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Wetlands, one of the newer maps for Age of Empires 4. And we're joined by two professional players essentially here, played in the Red Bull Wallow Legacy and actually played against each other in that tournament. With Recon getting the better of Kasva in that tournament, will he manage to do the same again in this game today? On Wetlands, it's one of the maps with a lot of shorefish, as we can see, and plenty of shorefish. It does mean there's less sheep on the map, and that can certainly sometimes hurt Rus a little bit, in the sense that they get more scouts on the field, so generally can pick up more sheep than their opponents. But he's going to have to rely just on the deer patches for the bounty for now on this map. Mongols starting off with the Uvu and the barracks going up there for Recon, looking to get a couple of spearmen out and start that early tower rush that we've known to, come to know and love from the Mongols. And Recon not changing anything up in that sense. And we'll be looking to get some towers up on this map sooner rather than later. The Rus side of things, Kasva has got a hunting cabin on the shorefish there, next to the woodline as well. I have to say, graphics wise, that actually look quite amazing, how half of the hunting cabin is underwater and the other half isn't. Certainly a really nice aesthetic aspect of the hunting cabin on this map already. But of course we're interested in pure RTS gameplay, and we see a couple of spearmen heading forward now with the Khan joining them, going across through the stealth forest past the little huntable boar. And going across the map. Be interesting to see where Recon decides to place that first outpost. Could potentially actually put it on this woodline and would deny quite a lot there. We shall see if that's something that he decides to do. And I'm not entirely sure that, I'm not sure that Kasva is aware this is going to be happening. The spearmen are actually heading towards the north of the base. There are two goals there and a woodline, so that wouldn't be a bad spot, but it wouldn't do the damage early that he'd want to achieve. And I say outpost rush, actually I kind of assumed here. Don't actually see a villager. So this is curious. No villagers seen. We're going to switch to his point of view there, Recon, and take off the fog of war. If we can. Actually, indeed, I haven't got the hotkey set up, I think, on this caster overlay, so we won't do that, I'm afraid. But that's really interesting how we don't actually seem to have a villager coming. So it was just two spearmen that I was invested in. I didn't really get all that much value. Looks like almost trying to get some of the huntables, in fact, and deny some of the bounty. Was chasing the couple of scouts there, so I'm not sure what Recon was up to. In any case, the spear come down towards the south, but of course his opponent now going up to the next stage is actually going to garrison the villages in that town centre. Got some good hits on that Khan as he uses the maneuver arrow to get away quickly out of harm's way. In any case, so I take it back. It's not actually going to be an outpost rush opening, rather just two spearmen. Wasn't something I was anticipating, but it is what it is. This is interesting. I suspect what could have been the case, he chose to have these two spearmen. It is very common for players to go out onto the shorefish, and I suspect maybe Recon was trying to punish that. But certainly the villagers were not there, and they actually went for a standard opening here for Kasva on the sheep. As we see the Mongols going up with the silver tree, not delayed all that much, all things considered. But will be obviously into the feudal age a little bit later than his opponent, looking to perhaps trade here with the silver tree. Spearman will possibly get some good hits on the scout, doesn't quite manage to take him out though, and going to try and torch down the hunting cabin. I suspect it's not going to work because the wooden fortress will be going up soon, and just harassing that woodline for now. In any case, things are being done. Villager coming around the wrong side of that woodline, perhaps looking to try and repair that hunting cabin a little bit to deny the raiding bounty. Looks like he won't be able to manage that, and the wooden fortress now is up and running for the Rus. This is quite an interesting building structure for the Rus, dedicated specifically for the Rus. It's a building which increases the amount of wood that's dropped off at the lumber camp, and that's quite interesting. The villagers garrisoned inside that wooden fortress, but weren't actually able to do damage. They didn't have line of sight on this issue, so I think he's going to send some villagers maybe to fight this off, because he doesn't want to let the bounty to come out there for Recon. As the Mongols, if you set a building on fire, you get some bounty. Well, not so much bounty, but you get a raiding bonus. Some wood and some food and gold rather. And that hunting cabin is still on 366 HP. Villagers coming out to the shorefish, wants to gather that food as fast as he can. And looks like Kasva's going to be quite happy to get a couple of archers there, push the spearmen behind and just micro the villagers. Attacking with the villagers now. And there's a decent amount of idle time, all things considered, there for Recon. Didn't get too much more value out of it than that. Just manages to get that villager, she dies. And so overall, actually a nice opening here for Recon. Look at the idle time being caused. 5 villagers coming out to fight off that one spearman. That's not ideal if you're Kasva. Recon will be happy with this opening. There are 2 archers there, so I'm a bit surprised to see the villagers venturing so far out. And they're coming back towards the shorefish now. Behind all of this, that early aggression has given Recon a little bit of map control now. Has been able to set up shop with the silver tree and is going to be looking to start that trade going. He's also dropping a stable for some feudal age aggression. Villager coming out here on the south. Not sure where this villager's off to. Perhaps has noted the trade, and that is indeed the case. He's actually going to go and wall off the trade post. And this is a good idea, of course. He wants to deny that trade. And this is something that we can actually all pick up from. If you're kind of diamond and below, this is maybe something that you may not be doing already. Playing against the Mongols on this map, you see them go for silver tree. Well, you want to deny that trade as best as possible, and sending a villager nice and early on to wall this up can be very beneficial. And the great thing for the Rus is that, of course, they got the fortified palisade wall, which gives them extra HP. It is more expensive as well, of course, but you know, it's not quite a stone wall, not quite a palisade, a bit stronger than a palisade, and buys you a lot of time. Looks like Kasva's going to be walling up the northern side as well. Of course, the Mongols can be very flexible with their silver tree and move that out and about. It's got it next to the Uvu for now, so I wonder whether he's going to be going for a double production of traders. In any case, I do see a couple of horsemen protecting the villagers on gold, and in fact he's actually double producing military with spearmen and 2 horsemen. Gets a good charge on that scout. That scout will perish because, of course, your horsemen have a faster movement speed, and so that horseman, those 2 horsemen should be able to catch up to that scout. Couple of archers heading across the map there for Kasva, looking to try and cause some pressure. Recon going very, very greedy in this match. Not only has he got a silver tree for, well, trading if he so wishes, but he's actually going to go for a second town centre. I just wonder whether that was a bit of a debate, because he hasn't actually produced any traders yet. In fact, he's actually going to go for more of the eco approach with the double town centre. And this has meant that Kasva's actually invested quite a bit of wood into these palisade walls and hasn't really achieved all that much. Hasn't denied anything really, because no traders have come out and about yet. Archers are diving in. He will spot the second town centre. Not a lot that Kasva can do about that just yet, and he is already 2 villages behind, so Recon doing a better job at keeping his town centres running. And now that he's got 2, that eco is going to start to build up quickly. Kasva, on the other hand, hasn't actually mined any stone. That's only telling you half the picture though, because of course with the Golden Gate, the Rus can trade favourably for stone. Might be looking to buy some stone. But we will see if he decides to get for that second town centre himself. He will already be behind. So maybe the counter here for Kasva is ready to be aggressive in the feudal age. Does have double stable, has production buildings set up. And doesn't actually have any villages on gold though at the moment. So won't be able to afford any early knights. Unless he decides to switch some villages onto gold. You see the horsemen heading over onto the field there for Recon, putting a little bit of pressure on, taking those 2 archers out. Might be 4 horsemen versus 4. You'll see, oh, 1 got left behind. 5 horsemen there for Kasva versus the 4 for Recon. So having to head away back from this, but Recon might be using the maneuver arrow soon if he can. Not sure if he's actually got the ability to do so. We'll see, he might even use the attack speed arrow. What you'll see is going to wait for the spearman, not deciding to take any unfavourable fights. The scout does go down there for Rus. And that's it's not a great start for him. The lack of vision now might hurt Kasva a little bit. Doesn't have a scout with these horsemen. Heading back south, we could just cut off the aggression from Recon. We'll run into each other. Palisade walls on the south have been built, and on the north as well, so relatively heavy wood investment there. And no trade coming out just yet. Wonder if Recon actually knows about that. In any case, he's settling for the 2 town centre play. 39 villages to 32, so certainly the eco lead heading in the favour of the Mongols, and with their capacity to be aggressive, this could be a bit of a problem for Kasva. We shall see. Heading down the south now, he's gonna engage. Khan not using the attack mover arrow just yet, maybe waiting for the spearman. There it is, there's the attack mover arrow, and that's the problem for Kasva. He's going to lose everything. There's not much that Kasva can do about this, and this leaves him at a huge disadvantage. 15 military to 0. Where does Kasva go from here? Because he is going to struggle. We'll have to see. Village is going to get pulled off that wood line. Doesn't want to get raided. Going to be heading into the safety of the wooden fortress. Bit of HP lost on the horseman, but certainly value gained there by Recon. Looks like Kasva's going to wall up. Kasva is looking to get to that next stage though, the castle age. So to counteract the boom, he's going to go for the tech advantage to the next stage. And I think Recon might just torch down this hunting cabin. Yeah, it's going to get some more value. There's nothing that really Kasva can do about that. But he's going to wait to get to the next stage. Literally has 0 military on the field, and he's going to get to the next stage and hopefully produce some military then. He needs to hold on for now. Spearman going to torch down this hunting cabin now. Kasva didn't actually repair this, so Recon will get some bounty from this. It is on fire, so too late now. Bounty has, or the raiding bonus has been achieved for the Mongols. Let's switch over to the resources per minute now. Toggle on the top bar of the screen. Large army there for Recon, and Recon's going to go to the next stage as well. This is something, a nice demonstration of how not to overcommit. I suspect Recon is aware that his opponent's going to go for a castle age behind this, and instead of continuing to produce military, which is something that, say for example, gold level players and platinum players may be tempted to do, Recon recognizes that his opponent is in the castle age and he doesn't want to get out-teched, and in fact he's going to bring his army back home. He doesn't want to throw this army away, and this is something that the pro players have mentioned. I've heard them talking about as well, that the importance of keeping your army alive rather than throwing them away unnecessarily. There's not much value that Recon can get from here on until he techs up to the next stage, and he's going to tech up as well, so keeping this army alive, these could become veteran horsemen very soon. Instead of trying to maybe pick off more villagers and losing his army, he's actually going to try and torch down this fortified palisade gate. That gives Kasva a headache to deal with in case, you know, trade comes in, and the spearmen are going to head in that direction. That castle age uptime is now in play for Recon. Kasva has not been able to get too much value from his castle age timing. Not with the castle age push anyway, as we see a couple of horse archers heading across the map, and I'm not sure how I feel about that. I mean, it's not like, well, it's one thing if your opponent is a castle age and you're in the feudal age. If they're one age ahead, armored units can really be a problem for you if you're in the feudal age. But not really so much with horse archers. Bruce is starting to mass them up. We haven't seen horse archers for a very long time though, so it's quite nice to see Kasva use these units as the palisade walls do get done. And this is something new to the patch of Age of Empires 4, I believe. When you lose a piece of palisade wall, it takes out more than just the palisade you're attacking. It takes the palisades on the sides of it as well, so something to bear in mind. A little bit easier to break through these days as the horse archers heading down the south looking to chase that Khan. And I like what Recon's doing here. Look at that. He's actually guarding this area with just one spearman. He needs to know about the situation, whether his trade is being blocked again. And you can see the outline that Kasva has already. He's looking to place down the foundations of palisade walls again. Recon's not happy about that. He's going to keep a spearman there. And again, this is a nice little touch from the pro players that we see happening here. The army staying at home for a Recon. I think he knows he's ahead by being, 2 town centers. And he doesn't really have to push. He can just keep booming ahead, make sure that his economy stays alive for as long as possible, and just take favourable trades. He knows he's ahead, keep his economy live and rocking and rolling, and keep producing military, and he'll soon see this game out. But Kasva, on the other hand, needs an answer. He needs one quick. He is on a bit of a timer. He needs to push the issue, be aggressive, cause some problems, and his answer to this question that he's being faced up with Recon is horse archers. Look at that, the villager was heading in that direction to build, but that spearman coming in clutch here to keep that trade post open. And it's not so much that Recon's trading, it's just the threat of it. The fact that he threatens, wait a minute, that's the third town centre for Recon. Those villager leads are really going to start to build up, and this is a nice touch for the Mongols, the fact that they only need wood to get to another town centre. And with 2 town centres so close by, the horse archers will get some raiding damage, but can't get too close to the town centres. Does pick off a couple of villages, but that's really not so much of a problem for Recon, not when he has 3 town centres. And I don't believe for a second that Kasva is aware of this town centre in the west. That is huge. Back at home, let's take a look at Kasva's economy. Let's see what he is up to. It's just the 1 town centre castle age play. Went up with the high trade house, and that'll help his bounty get up to the 500 mark eventually. That will unlock some benefits in terms of eco bonuses as a couple of knights do pop out onto the field. These are Castle Age knights now. Of course, the lance is there for the Mongols, and it's going to take out that boar and gather food that way as well. Very fast source of food. And the heavily armoured units out here on the field for Recon. Archers being added into the mix to help counteract the horse archers. They'll be riding away. They look fantastic in a massive horde there in the stealth forest. But Kasva is just holding on. The trouble for Kasva is that he's so far behind on eco now. He doesn't have the military lead either because of the fact that Recon's just been given the time to boom up here. And feels like Kasva's running out of ideas on this map, on this matchup as well. And Recon doing well, that's for sure. Keeping this area nice and open. And look at this, Kasva heading the southern direction. He feels like he needs to stop this area. He needs to control this area, he feels. Sending the army here, there's not a lot here. And this is fantastic for your Recon, because if you're Recon, you're thinking, well, Kasva's just moving down the south, keeping his army out of harm's way, keeping his army out of his economy, where it could really be hurt. And Spearman giving away that position now, Recon will be aware of that. And I suspect he will change the position of his military to reflect that, as the horse archers do head along the western border of the map. He's heading closer towards that Mongolian base. He'll be able to do some damage. A sprinkled placement in that outpost spots the army though. The outpost will be torched down. Behind this, Recon is steamrolling ahead in the village count, and you feel like that's going to translate very quickly into military. Step redoubt being packed up, being moved elsewhere. We won't focus on that just for now because the outpost has been taken out. Again, Kasva just reluctant to push in, giving away the position with attacking the outpost. Of course, the outpost will give the vision anyway, and yeah, Kasva's trying to poke and prod here on the west side. Of course, the Mongols don't get access to walls of any kind. No palisades, no stone walls. That means they can be open to raiding. That's what Kasva's looking to do here. They're going to get that sacred site on the right side as well. Army being split over onto the woodline, half on the shorefish. And we'll be able to get a couple of villager kills, but has to head back, doesn't want to lose the army. And but with 87 villagers to 52, with 3 town centres, Recon in a comfortable position. He may not know exactly how far ahead he is, but I suspect he feels he's far ahead. And I think Kasva is just, well, he spotted that 3rd town centre now. He's probably aware now how far away he is from his opponent in terms of economy. Lancers are charging in. Those Lancers will lose their lives. Good fight there for Kasva. One in the middle will be picking off some villages on the shorefish. A couple of crossbows there onto the field as well for Recon. Nice addition to the army. They'll take care of the knights very nicely. And a couple of villages heading to the northern shorefish. They will be cut off. The horse archers just getting picked up by those outposts, and they're not actually being able to get too much damage. A couple of spring emplacements in the outposts. Infantry are charging down, and I think Recon recognises he is ahead and he's got the military to chase that down. In the south though, this is a good play by Kasva. Kept his army split. This is the way he's trying to get into the game, by keeping his army split, using the manoeuvrability of his cavalry based army versus the infantry based army for Recon. If Recon is slow and methodical about this, he will bring his army back. He is indeed protecting the economy now, heading towards that southern area. Kasva losing army, not really getting cost effective trades, you feel, diving underneath the outposts. With spring on emplacements or the north, this could be juicy. There are 4 outposts of the spring on emplacements, so won't come out without casualties, Kasva, but will be causing a lot of damage to these villages. A lot of villagers will be losing their lives, but they're going to be hiding underneath in the outposts. A couple of them do go down though. Good bit of raiding there for Kasva. Not quite enough, as much as he needs. There's a decent start to the effort. Still that 1 town centre. Needs to do a lot more damage though to get back into the game, you feel. This could be a decisive fight. 61 military to 35 though. The numbers so high there for Recon. The eco's really starting to filter into the production. And looks like there's going to be a heavy fight here on the southern aspect of this sacred site. Both armies almost lining up here. And looks like Recon are going to head in this position. Kasva going to have to retreat. He's going to take the fight. I don't think he can. He's going to head in. Arrow, or the attack maneuver, coming out for the Khan. Yeah, this is not a fight that Kasva can take. He has to hide in his base. He has to head back home. He doesn't have the troops he needs to hold on, you feel. No siege. There is a mangonel that could help Kasva a little bit, at least against the crossbows and spears. Spears get a good engagement. Our mangonel doesn't get anything hit on that. Lancer charges in to try and take out the mangonel. Spearmen are going to head around. Good shot there. Decent shot, but not quite enough. Another mangonel pops out. A second one. Going to need some big mangonel shots here for Kasva. But the thing is, there's no meat shield in front of the mangonel. Those horse archers won't cut it, not with the spearmen and man-at-arms, and they're going to be chewed alive. 62 military to 15, 100 villagers to 60. Kasva deep in the heart of his own base. When the mangonels go down, you feel it might be a GG. The army heading into that Kasva's army, into that base, and he just probably can't hold on from here. Recon playing this to perfection, going very greedy with the 3 town centers, translating it into military, and Kasva never really got an opportunity to push hard. Did get a couple of villages in the north quite nicely with a good bit of raiding, but with the infantry now, they can torch down these buildings, and Recon looking in a very strong position. Got crossbow, got man-at-arms, got spearmen as well. It's very difficult to find an answer to that. The siege workshop going down, you feel like mangonels would have been the only real response that could have done a lot of damage, but without a meat shield, Recon was able to take those apart. 60 military dancing around your base, Kasva is in all sorts of trouble. He's starting to mass up a little bit, trying to keep his army alive for as long as possible. Heading a couple of villages towards the north, moving his economy slightly here, spreading across the map. With only 24 military, none of it in this picture, sprinkled in placement there as well, just in case any more mangonels come out. And that's a smart play by Recon. He recognizes that the real danger for him are mangonels. And so he gets the springles to counter. 2 of them. Rams are being built now. We are in the castle age. Going for rams instead of the trebuchets. Of course, just the wood involvement cost there for Recon with the rams, and got plenty of infantry to build them with. So why not? The north, Kasva looking to try and get some value here on the Step Redoubt gold villagers. Does have 2 knights, but there's springle replacements in the outpost, so he will get some value. Some villagers will lose their lives, but not enough, you feel. As a ram rush starts to push in the castle age. 22-minute ram rush. Not a lot. It's not often you see that happening. But if your crossbows will take out a lot of the armored units, though. And that's not a bad play, though, for Kasva, has to be said, because it kind of counters what Recon has. Recon has a lot of crossbows, a lot of armored units. The rams taking out the production buildings. There won't be any horsemen or knights coming out anytime soon with these stables going down. And the military numbers looking better than it was for Kasva. 34 versus 56. I do feel like with the raiding bonus that's coming out here for the Mongols, this is going to slowly start to snowball. Every time a building goes on fire, that raiding bounty or bonus really comes in for Recon. And you can see he's even getting the upgrade, the raid bounty upgrade, so that when he does take those buildings on fire, he'll start to get even more food and gold. More rams coming out here. I'm not sure if Kasva can hold. He's going to try his best to do so. But on wetlands today, the Rus being pulverized by the Mongols. Recon looking super strong. Does have a couple of relics, but you feel like it's not enough. I say a couple of relics. Actually, Kasva has all 5 of them. It comes down to the extra kind of mobility and map control we had in the earlier part of the game. But, things have really started to kick up a notch with the 124 villagers that Recon has. Last stable is going down. Let's have a couple of production buildings in the north, rebuilding some of the infrastructure. A couple of lancers do head into that wood line, idling a lot of villagers. Whatever villager numbers that Kasva already has left, a lot of them are idle now, 11 of them. 6th of the economy. And this is going to be a straight up fight, crossbows versus crossbows in the center, in the heart of the Kasva's base. And I'm not sure if he can come back from this. If he doesn't win this fight, I feel like it could be the GG, but look at the military numbers for Recon. You feel like he won't be losing this one. And now it's starting to spiral out of control, starting to snowball. I think Kasva's losing his army. Rams in the place as well. A couple of springles, those will take out the rams quite nicely. But he doesn't really have an answer to the military on the field. 38 to 15. And the villager lead is extensive. Almost double, actually. It's actually exactly double right now. 41 military to 16. Kasva is struggling. Does have a couple of crossbows and spearmen on the field still. Spearmen are going to chase after the lancers, but the lancers have the mobility there for the Mongols. The rams keep pushing forward, and it doesn't really feel like Kasva has a way of pushing this back. Despite having 5 relics, going to try and place down a keep with some villagers. Where are those villagers, though? They're not there yet, and they're going to be sniped by the army, that's for sure. There's just not enough there. There's surely not enough. He's going to torch down the battering ram or buy himself some more time. Maybe he needs to try and get a warrior monk for a big-ass Wallalo. Doesn't seem like it's going to happen. With the town centre now almost about to be on fire. There it is. He doesn't even attempt to build that keep because it's not possible. And Recon, with the Mongols, win on wetlands.